Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Method to the Madness, our Breaking Bad edition. I'm your host Mitchie, and joining me as usual is Patrick.
Hello.
And today we're covering Season 2, Episode 3, titled Bit by a Dead Bee. This episode comes right after Tuco's being killed, and it's a really good one because we kind of see how Jesse and Walter get away with the crimes that they just committed and what the fuck just happened with Tuco. Yeah, as usual, we'll go through this plot summary. It's another short one this time, Pat, so read it slowly.
You got it. All right. Having gotten away from Tuco, Walt and Jesse now have to get home and explain where they have been. Walt has a plan for both of them and they split up. Walt goes to a supermarket and takes off all of his clothes while walking around the aisles. He is hospitalized and claims to have no memory of where he has been for the last few days. The hospital is unable to find anything wrong with him, and Walt suggests that it was a combination of medication and chemotherapy that could have caused the episode. The hospital believes Walt is at risk for another fugue state and forces him to undergo a psychiatric evaluation. Walt admits to the psychiatrist after receiving assurances regarding patient confidentiality that he remembers everything and just wanted to get away for a while. They eventually agree to release him.
What a fucking plot, eh? Like, by Walter to do that.
It is.
It's kind of clever.
And that's a pretty... Like, what a situation they had to talk themselves out of, too.
Yeah.
Pretty elaborate, yeah.
Yeah. And I love how just, it's been like this the whole time, but this is truly like he's just lying straight through his teeth about everything. And, Skylar's there obviously going along with it because she believes him. And, like, speaking to Dr. Del Cavoli, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's just, like, so genuinely like, oh, what if it's the chemo, I've been feeling so wonderful after the few days of not having chemo and all these pills and shit. And it's just like, bruh, like, you're just talking shit.
That is true. This is like, he's been lying throughout the whole series, but now he's, like, really pathologically lying.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah.
And how sad is it when Walt Jr. comes up to him and says, like, do you remember who I am?
Yeah.
Fuck.
He is genuinely happy to see his family, though.
No, you can definitely see that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he just feared for his life, right? Like, he could have fucking died. Chuka could have killed him. So just that alone makes him, happy enough to see his family.
When he's at the psychiatrist office, there's that painting on the wall that he's kind of staring at.
Yeah, what was that about?
So, well... I tried looking it up. I don't think it's like an actual painting. It's just, I don't know, one of those, generic paintings you get to hang up on hospitals and shit.
Yeah.
What it actually is just like a father sailing away from his family on like a rowboat or whatever.
Yeah.
So obviously, the symbolism is pretty overt there. It's a man going away from his family.
Yeah, except the one in the painting they seem, that like happy about it and it looks genuine.
Yeah. So what's interesting is this painting shows up again in season 5, I believe.
Really?
When he's talking with the hitmen and they have it hung up at their place and he's like, where do you think these paintings come from? Do they come from a factory? And I don't know why, but this painting is like a recurring little theme, yeah.
Yeah. What I like about this interview with the psychiatrist, he's lying again. It's not even the truth. Like he kind of like, he's got this plan, like the doctor tells him like, oh, like I have this confidentiality agreement. As long as you don't threaten anyone, I literally can't tell anyone. And like, I see the risk in, why would you bother telling him, oh, I'm a methamphetamine cook and all this kind of shit. You could just lie and say what he did. But it almost seemed like an opportunity for Walt to kind of finally relieve himself of all the shit he's gone through,
right?
The shit that he's gone through himself. But like, it almost seemed like an opportunity to just tell someone not in the drug trade the truth, sort of like repenting, like a man does at a church, in the booth, and yet he still doesn't. And obviously there is that risk, but again he chooses not to, and again he's lying, and it's just become a compulsive thing that he's just constantly doing now. And it's just part of his character.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like it's a separate lie entirely.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like Walt does this a lot, where he finds like a kernel of truth in the lies that he tells, so as to make it seem genuine coming from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So he feels a little bit better.
Well, yeah, and it kind of sells it more.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like, the things he says is like, he wanted to run away from his family. It's like, there probably was a part of him that felt that, but...
Yeah, especially when he's like, why would you do that? And then he goes through that spiel about how his... oh, my wife's pregnant, I've got a kid with cerebral palsy, and, I've got 18 months left to live. And you're like, yeah, shit. I mean, if you were the psychiatrist, you'd probably kind of believe him, eh?
Next paragraph?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Jesse returns to his house to clean out the basement and get rid of the RV where he and Walt have been making methamphetamine. When the DEA agent tracks him down, he claims that he has been with a prostitute, Wendy, for the weekend. The DEA does not believe him and bring in Tuco's uncle Hector to identify him, but Hector refuses to cooperate with the authorities. They have to let Jesse go. Jesse tries to contact his parents, but they refuse to help him. That night, Walt convinces Jesse to continue cooking meth. Later, Hank gets a present at the station, Tuco's teeth grill encased in a clear acrylic cube.
Yeah, so we just had a discussion about Walt's, way of getting out of all this, but Jesse's one is another compelling one too. He obviously cooks up this plan that he was just partying on meth or whatever with Wendy in that shitty motel for the last couple of days. But the interesting bit is when Hector comes in. You can see Wendy kind of vouching for him, right? Like, why would she want to support the cops? And they seem pretty good friends, so it makes sense. But when Hector comes in, you as the audience, especially if you're first time viewer, you're like, oh shit, he's fucked. Because of course he's going to tell him, because Tuco died, and effectively Hector, I don't know how much he knows about how Tuco died, but you could actually he could be blaming Jesse and Walter for that, So he has every reason to tell the cops and dob them in.
Yeah, but he must really hate the fucking police, because, he could get revenge on Jesse by just dobbing him in, but he doesn't.
Well, it's like Gomez says, like he's OG.
Yeah.
He was penned up in that prison for 18 years and didn't say a word. Like this, and it really highlights like the kind of, we haven't really seen much of it yet, but the whole like cartel versus federales kind of thing in Mexico, where they're just literally the police in Mexico. I think their ultimate enemy are just the cartel, the drug lords and stuff like that. And it's just this constant literal war between them, because they do actually, it's not like America, like there's not really like battles between the police and drug lords. So if you watch Sicario, the movie by Denis Villeneuve, it actually shows you exactly what's going on in Mexico and how fucked up it is. And I think that's kind of highlighting that, because he's originally from Mexico, that like your arch nemesis is the police, is the federales, and you do not fucking help them whatsoever.
There's a really nice moment. I don't think it was in the plot, but well, not really nice, but Walt sneaks into his house because he forgot that he just left a gun and a bunch of money. Yeah. And then he gets that chance to candidly view his son and his wife interacting. Yeah. And it's just, it's this weird, kind of beautiful moment.
Yeah, it is. It's also sad too.
And, they're Walter has a bunch of these moments where he it's presented to him an opportunity to see what he's going to lose if he just keeps going down this path. But I guess in his eyes, he's like, that's what I'm going to lose if I don't go down this path.
Yeah. I mean, his opinion hasn't changed. He calls Jesse on the phone, what's changed? Yeah. We're going to keep cooking meth. And it's like, bruh, you fucking serious? You're going to take more risks still? This cunt is fucking greedy. Yeah. He's driven by just this massive desire to make money with some good reason, but it seems a little bit silly now to continue, but he does anyway.
And then Hank's grill, this is I think it's the biggest symbol that acts as the catalyst for his change, for Hank's arc. Yeah. As we will see in the coming episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's pretty fucked up though to give him that.
Yeah, but that's exactly why they think it would be appropriate to give Hank this thing. It's a bit kind of, crude. Yeah. Oh, here's the grill from the man you fucking killed. It's a bit hardcore, and they think Hank is all about that. Yeah. And as a result, Hank thinks that he has to be about that too.
Yeah. His story at the start is quite interesting too. When he's sat down to be interviewed and Marie's on the phone and she's like, oh, it doesn't matter. He's indestructible kind of thing. And then straight away, you see him in his interview and the way he talks is just so down to earth, professional, pragmatic. He knows exactly what the fuck happened, describes it pretty much, properly. This guy knows what he's doing. When Hank needs to get down, when the shit hits the fan and something bad happens, he actually knows what he's doing. I mean, up to that point, you kind of see him as this jovial guy who cracks a lot of jokes, but he is actually a really good DEA agent too.
Yeah, no, it's very cool to see extra dimensions of characters like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk about the end of the episode.
Yep.
How awkward is it when Walt gets home?
Is it awkward? I can't remember.
Yeah, when he steps inside and Skylar and Walt Jr. are just looking at him obviously with no happiness at all.
I mean, I can understand from Skylar's perspective because it seems she's starting to suspect Walt is lying to her, but like Walter Jr. doesn't suspect anything, does he?
Nah, but it's still really awkward. I don't know. It's just like, you know, you think they'd be really happy and give him a hug and like, you know, get him food or some shit, but they're just like, it's as soon as they step in that door and, you know, they're close to the outside world, they don't need a fake anymore.
Yeah.
You can tell that there's something fucking up. But up to that point, you don't really think about it. You just think like, oh, they're really happy to see their father again. But ultimately, they're not. And it all comes down to that mobile phone.
Yeah.
That fucks everything. The one thing, he had it all perfectly clean. This episode was, you know, the plot and his ploy to get out of this was clean. Like, you know, he was almost out of it scot-free. And then it was just that mobile phone that let him down. That, like...
Yeah, that's right. I remember Skylar asked him about that right at the end, right?
Yeah. She says, like, what mobile phone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he denies it, which is, why didn't he just say, it's what I used to call Jesse, who, my weed dealer?
Yeah, true. That actually, I was thinking about that, because I was thinking, like, if I was me, what would I say to kind of, like, you know, acknowledge the fact that I do have a second mobile phone, but get out of it? And that's actually a good point. He could have said that.
Yeah, he just didn't think fast enough, I suppose.
Yeah, which is unlike Walt, but he, you know, that is a catalyst. It lays down exactly what's going to happen in their relationship for the next quite a while, actually.
Yeah, you done fucked up, Walt.
Yeah, one job. You didn't get it. All right, well, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to our breakdown of Season 2, Episode 3 of Breaking Bad. See you next time.
See ya.
Come on, Granddad. Don't you want to help us out?
Oh, man.
I guess that's a no.
If you like this series, Mitch is going to tell you where you can find more of these.
Yep, so you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. And we've also got a website, amttm.com, where you can find our fabulous episodes on Breaking Bad.
If you have any questions, queries, insights, or criticism, you can send them to mail@amttm.com.
And as always, thank you for listening.